Hi, I am Dr. Jocelyn. Today is our special topic, and I want you to listen to my words carefully, because the real enemy of your prostate is not something exotic or mysterious. It is quietly sitting on your plate, in your cup, and in your pantry. And the most surprising part is this: you probably believe these foods are normal, harmless, or even part of a balanced diet. Yet day after day, they inflame your body, slow your circulation, and quietly make your prostate work harder than it should. My goal is not to scare you. It is to give you clarity, because once you see the pattern, you can change it. And when you change it, your body responds. During years of conversations with men over 50, I noticed something curious. Many of them were taking supplements, going to checkups, even exercising, but their plate was still sabotaging them. They would ask me, "Why do I wake up 2, 3, 4 times at night to pee? Why is my stream weaker? Why do I feel more pressure down there? Why has my energy gone down even though I'm trying to take care of myself?" And very often, the answer was not in another pill. It was in what they were eating every single day, almost without thinking. So in this conversation, we are going to do something simple and purposeful. I will show you 3 everyday foods that become real enemies of your prostate when you consume them regularly and in excess. I will explain why they are harmful, what they do inside your body, and how they slowly affect your circulation, your hormones, and your level of inflammation. Then, for each one, I will show you practical swaps and small changes you can start today, without extreme diets, without obsession, and without feeling punished. This is not about perfection. It is about direction. Let's begin with a truth that many men never hear. Your prostate is not your enemy. It is not a ticking bomb. It is a small gland with an enormous impact on your quality of life. When it is healthy, you barely think about it. You urinate with a steady stream. You sleep without constant trips to the bathroom. Your bladder feels empty, and your confidence in your intimate life feels stable. But when this small organ becomes inflamed, congested, or enlarged, you begin to notice changes. A weaker stream, urgency, dripping, discomfort, pressure, a quiet sense that something is off. Many men believe this is simply old age, that it is inevitable. But in reality, lifestyle plays a huge role in how fast these changes appear and how intense they become. Smoking, lack of exercise, excess body fat, stress, and poor sleep all matter. However, what you eat can be either gasoline on the fire or water that calms the flames. This is why we need to talk honestly about these 3 everyday foods. The first enemy is not one single product, but an entire family: highly processed red and processed meats. I am talking about sausages in the morning, bacon, hot dogs, salami, deli meats, fatty burgers loaded with additives, and charred steaks eaten in excess. Many men grew up with the idea that a real man eats meat. They associate it with strength, power, and energy. But what if I told you that, especially after 50, these foods often give you the opposite: more inflammation, worse circulation, more pressure on your prostate and your cardiovascular system. When you eat processed meats regularly, you are not only consuming protein, you are absorbing high levels of saturated fat, salt, chemical additives, and compounds formed during intense cooking and smoking. Your body has to manage all of this. Over time, these substances promote low-grade chronic inflammation, affect blood vessel function, and contribute to weight gain, especially around the abdomen. And abdominal fat is not passive, it is hormonally active. It produces inflammatory signals that circulate through your body, including the area of your pelvis where your prostate lives. Imagine your prostate like a sponge surrounded by blood vessels and nerves. When your lifestyle constantly increases inflammation, that tissue becomes more sensitive, more irritated, more congested. It is not about the piece of meat you eat once a month at a celebration. It is about the daily sandwich full of processed meat. It is about bacon every morning. It is about weekends where half your plate is charred meat and the other half is almost nothing green. Over time, This pattern leaves your whole body more inflamed, your arteries stiffer, your circulation poorer, and your prostate feeling the effect. Many men begin to notice heaviness in the pelvic area, slower urine flow, and more nighttime trips to the bathroom. They blame age, but often the problem is on their plate. Before we go deeper, take a second and subscribe to this channel. Not because of me, but because your future self will thank you for every small reminder that keeps you on the right path. These conversations are here to support your health, your strength, and your independence as you move forward in life. Now, let's continue. So, what can you do instead of letting processed meats quietly work against you? You do not have to become a vegetarian tomorrow. You do not have to give up everything you enjoy. This is about balance and awareness. Start by reducing frequency and portion size. Choose leaner cuts when you do eat meat. Replace some red meat meals with fish rich in omega-3, like salmon or sardines. Add more vegetables and fiber around any meat you eat, so your plate looks colorful, not just brown. And most importantly, begin to treat processed meats as occasional indulgences, not everyday staples. Each time you make that choice, you are easing the inflammatory load on your body and giving your prostate a calmer environment to live in. Now let's move to the second enemy, one that hides in plain sight and feels harmless to many people: sugary drinks and refined carbohydrates. This is the soft drink with lunch, the sweetened iced tea, the energy drink in the afternoon, the fruit juice you believe is healthy but is actually loaded with sugar. And it is also the pastries, white bread, cookies, and sweets that seem small but accumulate day after day. Why are these such a problem for your prostate? Because they directly attack your metabolism and your blood sugar regulation. When you constantly flood your body with quick sugars and refined flour, your blood sugar spikes. Your body responds by releasing insulin to lower it. If this pattern repeats for years, your cells become less sensitive to insulin. Blood sugar stays higher. You enter a state called insulin resistance. Insulin resistance does not only increase the risk of diabetes, it changes your entire hormonal and inflammatory landscape. It is linked to more abdominal fat, higher inflammation, and shifts in sex hormone balance. All of this directly affects prostate health. A body in constant metabolic stress becomes a body where tissues are more sensitive to irritation, including in the prostate area. High blood sugar also damages the lining of your blood vessels. Over time, the arteries that carry blood to your pelvis, bladder, and prostate become less flexible and less efficient. Good circulation is essential for tissue repair, nerve health, and normal function. When circulation is compromised, many men do not only feel it in urinary symptoms, they also notice lower energy, less vitality, and changes in intimate confidence. Excess sugar also fuels weight gain. Extra weight around the waist increases pressure on the pelvic floor, changes posture, and can worsen urgency and frequency. Many men are surprised when they lose even a small amount of abdominal weight and notice that urinary symptoms improve. This is not magic. It is anatomy and physiology working together. So what can you do? Start with awareness. Look honestly at what you drink in a typical day. Many men forget liquid calories: sugary coffee drinks, sweetened yogurts, sodas, juices. Begin by replacing just one sugary drink per day with water, sparkling water with lemon, or unsweetened herbal tea. If you need flavor, add citrus, mint, or cucumber. With refined carbohydrates, begin switching white bread, white rice, and pastries for whole grains in moderate portions. Choose whole grain bread instead of white. Swap some desserts for fresh fruit. Do not look for perfection. Look for progress. And if this is helping you see things more clearly, subscribe now so you keep getting these gentle reminders. Every time you reduce a sugar spike, you lower inflammation and give your hormones and blood vessels a calmer environment. These small shifts, repeated daily, quietly change the future of your prostate and your overall vitality. Before we move on, take a moment and subscribe if you have not already. Think of this channel as a quiet companion on your health journey. Each video is a reminder that your body can still respond, still improve, still heal. Now let's talk about the third enemy. This one is subtle and often overlooked. It is the combination of high salt and ultra-processed convenience foods, especially in the evening. I am talking about instant soups, salty snacks, fast food, frozen dinners loaded with sodium, and packaged meals you heat quickly when you are tired. These foods seem harmless, they save time, they feel comforting after a long day. But for your prostate and bladder, they quietly create problems. Why are they such a threat, especially if you already wake up at night to urinate? First, the salt. When you consume a lot of sodium, your body retains more water to keep balance. This increases blood pressure and makes your heart and kidneys work harder. But it also means your body has more fluid to get rid of later. If you eat a very salty dinner or snack late at night, your body will often try to release that extra fluid during the night. The result is simple. You wake up to urinate. For a man with a sensitive or enlarged prostate, this becomes a double burden. The bladder fills with more volume at night, but the outflow is already restricted. You wake up, feel urgency, go to the bathroom, empty only partially, return to bed, and a few hours later, the cycle repeats. Over time, this pattern destroys sleep quality. Poor sleep drains energy, weakens mood, and reduces your sense of vitality. Many men accept this as normal aging, but very often, it begins on the dinner plate. Ultra-processed foods also share another hidden problem. They are low in fiber and high in additives, unhealthy fats, and refined carbohydrates. This combination fuels metabolic stress, weight gain, and chronic inflammation. But there is one detail many men never consider: constipation. Low-fiber diets make bowel movements harder and less frequent. When stool builds up in the rectum, it takes up space in the pelvis. It presses against the bladder and prostate area, increasing discomfort and making urinary symptoms worse. So ask yourself honestly, what does your evening routine look like? Do you come home tired and grab something quick, salty, and processed because you do not feel like cooking? Do you eat late and wash it down with a large drink? If this is your pattern, your prostate and bladder are paying the price while you try to sleep. How do you protect yourself from this third enemy? Begin by reducing salt overall. Taste food before adding more. Read labels. You will be shocked how much sodium hides in soups, sauces, and snacks. Try to prepare simple meals at home with real ingredients: vegetables, legumes, whole grains, lean proteins. Nothing fancy, just real food. Pay special attention to the evening. Try to eat your larger meals earlier in the day and keep dinner lighter and less salty. Reduce the amount of liquid you drink 2 to 3 hours before bed, especially if you already wake up at night. This is not about dehydration, it is about timing. A calmer bladder at night means deeper, more restorative sleep. And good sleep supports hormonal balance, circulation, and long-term vitality. If this message is helping you rethink small habits, subscribe now. These gentle reminders are here to keep you aware, not pressured. Because change does not happen in one day. It happens through quiet, repeated decisions that your body remembers. Now that we have met these three enemies, processed meats, sugary drinks and refined carbohydrates, and salty, ultra-processed convenience foods, it is time to connect the dots. If you are still with me, take a moment and subscribe. Not as a favor to me, but as a promise to yourself that your health matters. These few minutes you invest here can quietly change years of your life. Now, let me connect the dots for you. You might be thinking, all right, I understand each one separately, but what does this really mean for my daily life? So imagine two men, both 60 years old. They have similar genetics. Both have a slightly enlarged prostate, which is common at that age. The first man eats bacon most mornings, a processed meat sandwich at lunch, drinks a large soda, and grabs fast food for dinner several times a week. He enjoys sweet tea in the afternoon and salty snacks at night while watching television. He sleeps poorly, wakes up 3 times to urinate, feels tired in the morning, and believes this is simply what getting old feels like. The second man makes modest but consistent changes. He limits processed meats to once in a while. 2 or 3 times a week, he chooses fish or legumes instead. He replaces sugary drinks with water, sparkling water with lemon, and unsweetened tea. He switches white bread for whole grain and saves pastries for special occasions. In the evening, he chooses simpler, less salty meals and stops drinking large amounts of liquid 2 hours before bed. After a few weeks, then a few months, he begins to notice differences. Fewer night trips to the bathroom, a slightly stronger urine stream, less heaviness in his lower abdomen, more energy in the morning. The difference between these 2 men is not luck. It is habit. It is the silent accumulation of small decisions day after day. Your prostate feels what you eat. Your bladder, blood vessels, hormones, and nerves in the pelvic area respond constantly to the signals your diet sends. I want you to hear this clearly. You do not have to be perfect. You do not need an extreme diet. You do not need to punish yourself for past habits. Your body is not asking for punishment. It is asking for help. Help begins with one decision at a time. Maybe you start with sugary drinks. You tell yourself, for the next 2 weeks, I will cut sodas and juices and drink more water and unsweetened tea. That is all. You observe how your sleep, energy, and urination respond. Then, when that feels natural, you reduce processed meats. Later, you adjust your evening routine with salt and late-night snacks. Every time you remove a little inflammation, you give your prostate space to breathe. Every time you improve circulation, you send more oxygen and nutrients to your pelvic tissues. Every time you support metabolic health, you protect your hormones and reduce pressure on your urinary system. Men often ask me, what should I eat instead? While today we focused on enemies, remember there are allies. Colorful vegetables, berries, healthy fats like olive oil, nuts, and seeds, legumes for fiber and steady energy, tomatoes cooked with a little olive oil, green tea instead of sugary drinks. You do not need a long list of superfoods. You need one simple principle: more real food, fewer ultra-processed foods, more color on your plate, less beige. Diet also affects something many men never talk about: confidence in intimate life. When you sleep poorly, when your prostate is irritated, when circulation struggles, it is natural to feel tired and less confident. As your body calms, nights improve and energy stabilizes, you begin to trust your body again. That inner safety changes how you show up in life and in relationships. And if a part of you thinks, it is too late for me, let me gently challenge that. Your body is always renewing. Blood vessels respond. Inflammation can decrease. Symptoms can improve. You may not feel 20 again, but you can feel lighter, clearer, and more in control at 55, 65, or even 75. The real enemy of your prostate is not age. It is the everyday habits that inflame your body, and you have the power to change them from your plate. Before you go, subscribe and stay with these conversations. Then ask yourself one simple question: what is one small change I can start today? Write it down. Keep it visible. Honor it for 1 week. Your prostate, your heart, your circulation, your sleep, and your confidence are all connected. When you take care of one, you quietly support them all.